crisis, but you go through in different ways. So can you talk about this film, the entry point in which you talk about climate crisis and how you even thought to do that?
That's a great question. I feel really lucky because Andri, I think, is such an extraordinary communicator on the climate crisis. And one thing that he often says is, when you start talking about the climate crisis, people start to kind of tune out. It just feels kind of like noise at this point. And I don't blame people. We're getting these narratives of apocalypse everywhere. War, genocide, kidnappings. The world is literally on fire. So I have such understanding and empathy for that kind of needing to tune out. For him, when he says, climate crisis, it's that kind of tune out. But when he says things like, I want to talk about time and water, people perk up. That sounds more interesting to them. That sounds more poetic. That sounds more relatable. It sounds a little mysterious, but it provides a moment to engage. And so when he starts talking about time through the lens of his grandparents' memories, or he starts talking about water through kind of this massive ice beast or glaciers that kind of have a sentience of their own as they move down the mountains, it causes a kind of connection that feels more emotional, and thus it's an entry point to engage. And so that's something we really tried to do with this film, kind of guided by Andri's way, to tell a story about kind of there's a term that I really like that describes the climate crisis, kind of the slow violence. And of course, sometimes the climate crisis is incredibly rapid, but it is this kind of slow building that then, there's these bursts of violence that erupts, so to speak. And so I'll just say, I feel like trying to work with that, but without using terms that might cause people to lean out and say, no, I don't want to go there, but instead can cause people to think about their own ancestors, what they might be losing, as well as what they love and what still remains, their own homes, what they might be losing, but also the beauty and power and meaning of what still remains. So very grateful for Andri in kind of setting that guiding lens for us to work with the material.
Yeah.
Oh, me again? I'm just enjoying the talk.
He's really having a good time.
I'm just enjoying chat.
They are a couple minutes late, so you have a couple more minutes with her.
Oh, great. Well, then the other aspect that I would love for you to talk about is, again, because Andri has so much footage with the home stuff, and he was such an integral part of this. Is when you needed to go, well, we can't use that though, or whatever. And if there were moments where he was like going, I really want you to use this because it's really great. You went, but I kind of can't. How did that conversation happen?
That's a great question. The working with Andri throughout the process was wonderful. He's an extraordinary collaborator, and we had a really good kind of channel of communication the whole way through. So it was very easy to have those conversations. One of my favorite moments in the film is it's a shot of his wife Magga, who is in the bath with their firstborn child Hlynur, and just the expression on Magga's face, she's just like radiant and in love with her newborn. Hlynur squeaks in this really adorable way, and you can just sense Andri's own love, his gaze through the camera. But of course it's sensitive to have, your partner in a bath with a new baby, and luckily you don't see anything aside from her face. But that was very sensitive, and that was something we talked about, and Magga is quite a private person, and she was like, can we maybe tone that down? And so we ended up finding a way to edit that shot where we cut into a close-up of Hlynur's face to have less time on her. So it was things like that where it's we really wanted the moment to stay in the film because it was so meaningful. But of course we wanted to be sensitive and respectful to his family, and so we were able to find the right way where they felt good, we felt good. But there's so much that Andri captured that we wish we could have put in the film, and certainly so many moments too that he would have loved. But my hope is, it'd be amazing to have sequels. You could, I think, make 30 films out of the archives that Andri himself has, as well as his grandparents too. So.
I could watch footage of his grandparents all day. My heart melts. That's like love goals right there. Unfortunately, we have to wrap soon, but we do end each segment with something called This Bitch. So this is your chance, Sarah, to either shine a light on someone or something that's bringing you joy, or throw shade at something that's pissing you off. So who is your this bitch of the moment?
Oh God, that's a great question. I think I want to shine some light on my animator, Lucy Munger. Lucy's animation, I think, is absolutely beautiful, and it's so multi-layered. The animation in Time and Water comes in a few moments, but Lucy she works exclusively in paper cutout and collage, and she was able to work with historical archives in Iceland, specifically kind of the Norse myths. That people might best know from, Thor and Marvel movies. But she so delicately worked with these words that were first transcribed in like the year 1200 into the textures of her animation. For example, the sea monster, there's a sea monster moment in the film that she creates, and the scales in the sea monster are words from the Poetic Edda, which is kind of the foundational Norse myth of creation and destruction. And I just feel like Lucy shows such love and care and delicacy in her work, and thinks in such a multi-dimensional way that her animation tied so much together and kind of added this mythic layer to the film that was so needed. She's here at South by South with us, and South by Southwest with us, and just wanted to give her some love and shine.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's a pleasure having you back on. We can't wait till the next film. Again, we've been speaking to director Sarah Dosa of the documentary Time and Water.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's such a joy to be here.
Awesome.
Quick photo.
Thank you.